Hi, Dave here. This is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is the Cinema. It's the podcast where we walk home from the movies. Today we're preparing to take our whole family, all four of us, to a trip to the cinema. An early morning, 11:15 showing of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
It is a bank holiday in Ireland, so it's perfect bank holiday rainy day vibes. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this movie because I've seen very positive reviews for it.
Yeah, I saw a trailer. It looks good. They're doing the Spider-Verse thing.
Mm-hmm.
So as
well, you mean visually?
Visually, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I don't think there's multiverses in this.
No, I'm not talking about that. I don't really know what the plot is.
Yeah.
Except that all the sort of marketing material for this seems to be just them hanging out and being teenagers. And they seem very charming. The voice cast sounds good. I love the look of the animation. It's doing that sort of Spider-Verse sort of comic book come to life, choppy frame rate thing. It looks interesting. Seth Rogen is behind this.
We always check the BBFC ratings before bringing the kids to something. So we're a bit on the fence with this one. It's a PG, but it looks suitable.
Well, we are the parents.
Yeah.
And we have decided that the things that this outlines, threat, mild threat and some violence, our kids are very familiar with watching Lego Ninjago and things like that. Yeah, they watch
a lot of ninja
So they love
stuff.
ninjas.
Yeah.
So they're not really familiar with this property. I am, and you, but I in particular, played with these toys as a kid. I loved the Turtles cartoon.
I never had toys, but I absolutely loved the cartoon as a kid.
We should have kicked off with a maybe after the film we'll do a little bit of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Heroes in a half shell. Ton of power.
I'm remembering it.
Okay,
They better have that song.
Can you tell me what the lyrics were for each four? What the four of them did? So Donatello does machines, whatever that means.
Michelangelo.
It's a party, dude.
I can't remember. One of them's cool but rude. I know that.
That's Raphael.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, our kids aren't familiar with it actually at all. So we've showed them pictures and stuff earlier. We told them it's about ninjas. They're excited. Let's go.
I have a lot of affinity for this. I absolutely loved this as a kid. What's weird is like looking at the top 10 this summer, right? Which I actually have in front of me. It's like the...
You mean top 10 box office?
Top 10 box office in the worldwide box office at the moment. Looking at it here, the era of superheroes is potentially at a close. There's
these guys
here.
are superheroes, but you specifically mean like Marvel and DC movies, right?
Yeah, well, it's traditional superheroes. I mean, what we're looking at here is Super Mario Brothers, Barbie, The Little Mermaid, Transformers. These are all things from our childhoods.
Yeah.
Like they're just back. It's just a perpetual nostalgia cycle. And I don't think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ever went away. I think it's been rebooted every 10 years or so in different forms. I haven't kind of kept up with it. But if the Vanilla Ice song "Go Ninja, Go Ninja Go" features in this, I'll be
happy.
satisfied.
Yeah.
Anyway, will we head in?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, we gotta go get our kids first.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, guys, if we weren't monsters that were shunned by society and we could do what we wanted, what would you guys do?
Go to high school, maybe get a girlfriend.
Can you imagine that?
Not likely.
This is insane. Turtle, mutant, karate teens. I want to know everything about you.
Our dad is definitely not a giant rat.
That makes me feel like he's a rat.
Police are baffled by the recent crime wave led by a superfly.
Nobody's ever seen his face.
Why?
Because he kills everyone who does.
Whoa. Cool.
No, not cool.
A bit cool. Can I kick it?
We take out Superfly, and then everyone will think we're cool. They'll accept us.
Can I kick it? He's making a deal tonight under the Brooklyn Bridge. Can I kick?
Whoa.
Kick.
What the? Y'all some little tortoises, huh?
I can't believe there are other mutants.
You want to roll with us?
Hi, yeah, we're back. We've just seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem with our kids. We've just left them with their grandmother, and now we're out for a nice stroll by the river.
Our kids think it's totally normal that we watch a movie in the cinema with them, and then we'll be like, okay, now you have to go and be minded by someone for 20 minutes while we make a podcast. They're like, cool.
Yeah. We were like, do you want to come talk in the podcast? They were like, no.
We used to bring them when they were little and in a buggy and like didn't talk. Sadly, that doesn't work anymore.
Now they're
Those
very
days are
much
gone.
not interested.
Yeah.
And also, well, we'll give you their opinions first before we get to ours. And by the way, if it's your first time here, there's no spoilers until there will be, and we will notify you when we turn onto Spoiler Street, also just by the river. Maybe it's a spoiler tributary.
Maybe.
So our kids, Oscar, the 5-year-old, very much enjoyed this movie.
Yeah,
I
really
think,
liked
but then
it.
he kind of likes everything.
Yeah, he rarely dislikes a movie in the
Yeah.
cinema. But he was like actually leaning forward in his seat on this one and like really into it. So yeah.
So suitable for
there was
5-year-olds.
a romantic subplot in this film that I mentioned to him afterwards. So I said, I think that person wanted this person to be their girlfriend. And Oscar's like, no, they didn't. Completely misses romantic subplot.
He just can't see it.
Yeah.
But then why would he pick up on it's relatively subtle, the cues of all that.
This is definitely though, like, I don't think it's unsuitable for younger kids as such, but it's definitely quite violent to the point where you're like, it's more violent than like Lego Ninjago, which is what we were kind of thinking of.
I think if I had watched this beforehand, I would have made a different call.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd have brought Elliot, our 3-year-old.
The 3-year-old.
Now there's nothing sort of unsuitable for him, as you say, as such. But every child is different.
It's just quite.
He was just
quite
bored.
violent.
It's aimed at older kids, I think.
Yeah, the animation isn't. The animation's cool and I really liked it, but
it's not very colourful. It's actually quite brown and drab
so
in
the 3-year-old
places.
said, I think 10 minutes in, is this nearly finished? And then when is it finished was said a lot. So very much like his Elemental review, which was colourful. So
it's hard to please a 3-year-old.
Don't bring a 3-year-old to this movie. Almost 6-year-old, go for it. But yeah, we both I think you really liked it.
I think you really liked it, but this is a funny film. It's
fun.
really, really good. This is like it's essentially a reboot of the Turtles again, I would say. So it's kind of an origin story, but an origin story done in an interesting and different way. I think they play around with the expectations of what I have with a sort of a familiarity of the Turtles pretty well. I thought all the cast are really good.
Yeah, agreed.
Everyone's really fresh. I like that there's actual teenagers voicing them. There's a camaraderie, and I think from very early on there's a moment where you're like, I empathized with the Turtles and what they were hoping for, this feeling of alienation, and they're looking for acceptance, and so the movie had me very early on.
I think they actually feel like very real teenagers, and I think there's some good additions to the film, like to the world of the Turtles, which I have not seen since probably the mid-90s. Is probably the last time I watched any Ninja Turtle thing, but
the animation,
phones, and they're on the internet and they live in the sewer and they want to be up in the real world, and I kind of liked all that. I love what they did with them.
It actually has Little Mermaid vibes in many ways, because it's all about a parent. This isn't a spoiler, but it's a parent telling them that it's not safe up there.
Yeah, I know.
And they're constantly like obsessed with this human world.
And then they do that number, I wanna go where the people go. And that was very moving, actually. I really enjoyed the rat. What's he called again? Splinter, love him.
Oh, he's fantastic. Jackie Chan, as it turns out, in the credits.
Splinter has a fantastic arc in this, and he's a really well-developed character. Like, I don't remember him being
more so than ever before.
Now,
and he has all the best jokes as well.
Yeah, Splinter's really good. April is brilliant.
Yes.
I love how April looks. She's cool. She's interesting. They've done a lot with that character.
And they made her a teenager as well.
Yeah,
because in the sort of a TV show that I remember, she was a grown-up reporter. So she's much more interesting when she's their age.
Yeah. She's like a fully fleshed out character, and I really, really liked her. So yeah, I think it's a great movie. I particularly think it would be a great one for like tweens. Like, I think if you had like a kid around age 10,
if you're 8 to 12, 8 to 13, maybe even slightly older, I think it's cool. It's got a great. I mean, a nearly 40-year-old man saying that something's cool to teenagers.
Well, it's clearly aimed at like millennial parents.
But I think it's got a lot. You're right.
Something for us and something for the kids.
It's got a lot that would appeal to them. It's got a banging soundtrack. It's got great fresh animation. I love like the lighting in this. There's like the elements around light bulbs are just like there's lots of pencil scratches that you can see. Explosions look really interesting in this
Great use
in this
of,
movie.
And when I wake in the morning,
So many good music cues. Genuinely
really good bad
laugh out
guy.
loud funny. Great bad guy.
The bad guy is not Shredder.
The story's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was emotionally invested in everybody, and it's. I think a lot of effort was put into the screenplay, which was written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who has written a lot of things with it. So that's everything from, Superbad to.
It explains the hit level of jokes. Like I hadn't really. I know you mentioned Seth Rogen, but I hadn't quite realised how involved he was in it. It's fairly funny, like consistency throughout. We were laughing.
It's really good. I cared
our kids
for all
didn't
the
laugh
people.
at all.
No, that's true.
Like not once.
That's true.
Should we go to spoilers?
Yeah, let's go to spoilers. So spoilers now. You have been warned.
Just before we get spoilers, though, this film is much better than you'd expect it to be, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd actually recommend seeing this. I think it's a good watch.
I think so too.
And I think it's interesting coming off the back of. I actually literally forgot until just now that there were 2 live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films in the past 10 years.
I know, we never saw them.
I think I saw a bit of one of
them.
them. I remember Will Arnett being in them, but they had this Michael Bay sort of tint to them.
I remember
think he was
now.
involved, and it had a
seems really
Transformers.
obnoxious.
It was just like, let's make it like the Transformers template, and it was just I remember I did watch like 20 minutes of one of these, and they were just like ugly looking movies.
I didn't like the trailers.
And also, this is just telling me like this is the era. I feel like now with when you look at like Mario dominating Spider-Verse, it's just like Mario's maybe a bad example, but animation is the format where you can do way more interesting things than you can do in live action for comic books. So do it. Like this is an example of, I don't think you would ever get this level of fast-paced action scenes and like whips. You could just do things in animation that you can't in real life.
Yeah.
And also then if you are doing something like the Turtles or something that you have to have entirely CG characters, you're just always going to face the complication of those two things
and then they
not
age
meshing.
poorly. Do you know
Exactly.
what really works in this as well is, and now look, it has been a long time since I watched the original, so I was a very different age. I was much younger than the characters, now I'm much older than them, but they actually felt like teenagers, and I don't think in the original cartoon, which is the one I'm most familiar with, they particularly felt like teenagers.
No.
They feel quite young here. They almost feel like they're like 14, 15.
With the I haven't seen that cartoon in 30 years. Yeah. But my impression of that would be, and we did watch the theme song on YouTube before we came out here. That's the most research we did. But I think you're right, but that would have been written by probably middle-aged men in the 80s and 90s.
Well, this is still written by
replicating teenagers.
Men,
well, yes, correct. But
it actually really annoyed me when.
But it's voiced by teenagers. That was not voiced. That was voiced by also middle-aged men.
It really annoyed me when we came out of the cinema and I saw the poster, because I'd never actually seen the poster, and it says like from. What does it say? From eternal
permanent teenager
Seth Rogen. And I actually, but you know what, mate? Like, you're pushing 40-something. It's just a naff and embarrassing thing to A, say about yourself, or B, let a marketing person say about you, and I don't know which one it was. He's not a perpetual teenager. He actually is a man in his 40s, and it's people in their 40s thinking they're like teenagers that's just embarrassing, and you're not, okay?
But hang on.
And I think this film captured being a teenager well, but I'm actually not a teenager. So I'd be curious to know what a teenager thought of it.
Yeah, but sorry, I don't understand your point, because that's a minute ago you said this film seemed to depict what our impression of being a teenager was.
Yeah, but
they felt like authentic teenagers.
But we're not teenagers, and we don't call ourselves teenagers. Like,
fine,
we don't claim to have a teenage perspective.
Fine.
Like, it's just a bit naff.
But what we're agreeing on is this movie does a good job of replicating. It even references Ferris Bueller at one point. It kind of feels like
but Ferris Bueller is such a millennial reference as well.
Fine. This is clearly aimed at millennials. Yeah. We've acknowledged that. Like, I don't know who the audience of this is, but we are millennials. It works for us.
The audience
they
is
were
us.
recognizable. My point is, the TV show in the 80s, yes, teenagers written by 40-year-old men, but didn't sound like teenagers.
Yeah, now
they just sounded
voices,
like whatever, like
we're
boring
the perfect
heroes.
market for this, because we bought 4 tickets for us both and our 2 kids. we probably might have watched it without our kids because we both had liked the sound of it anyway. So yeah,
they're goofing off. They're on TikTok. They're irresponsible. Like I don't know. They felt
more authentic.
They felt like, I mean, John Hughes had a good grasp on what teenagers, how they sound and wringing authenticity out of it.
Well,
and I
also,
think that kind of came
It's
through
not just
here.
Seth Rogen who wrote this as well. There seem to be about 5 writers in the credits. Right, we're going to spoiler street now for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mutant Mayhem, and maybe all the other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films that we see. So firstly, spoilers, okay? Spoilers again. The Go Ninja rap came on. Did you hear it in the radio in the car for a minute?
Barely though.
Oh, but come on, that's enough. What, you want them to do a whole musical number with Vanilla Ice?
I wanted the full original song. I really did. I'm not joking.
If anyone doesn't remember that, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, one of my favourite films as a kid.
I never saw the films.
I used to love them, but they are not good. There is a full-on musical number in the movie in which they crash into a nightclub and Vanilla Ice is performing and then they have a fight scene and then he adapts his rap into a brand new song called Go Ninja Go.
Amazing.
To spur them on. And that was the 90s.
I actually think it was very clever how they opened the film, and it's kind of like that we kind of see them now and then it's just a flashback to them as babies, and they're these super cute little turtles which our kids were really into as well. And then the whole sequence of like them being raised by Splinter.
That was adorable.
I absolutely loved that sequence.
Also, the design of Splinter was fantastic.
Yeah, really good.
He looked very different than he's been before, and I particularly liked his mustache and sort of curly perm.
Yeah, I did as well.
From when he was a younger rat.
I really enjoyed that.
And I really this film is funny. It's like when he says like, you know, I was an older rat, so I turned old, and you were baby, so you're a baby, and we're not going to think any more about that.
I really like that he was also kind of lonely and looking for love. He got a little bit of a romantic.
Oh my god, all that stink bug stuff at the end was just so funny. I don't know, like it's just simple stuff.
Yeah.
But I found I was laughing frequently at this movie. Like it just really made me laugh.
Wasn't particularly
when his
busy.
cockroach friend got killed.
It was funny. It wasn't particularly busy, but
but it's doing pretty well at the box office. I
know, but I think we were the ones laughing in the cinema. I don't know that anyone else was laughing.
I mean, it is funny though. Coming off last week, going back to the cinema a week or two after Barbenheimer, where we went to 2 packed up screenings to be sitting in a. You know, there was like 12 of us maybe.
Yeah, and I kind of was still in Barbenheimer mode, and I was like, oh my god, it's going to be so busy. Ice Cube as Superfly, adored, loved that performance, very cool.
Great
the
villain
stuff, yeah, very
really
fun.
And all the creature design in this movie is fantastic. I loved the Rogues Gallery of villains, which I had a lot of them as toys. You know, the crocodile,
I didn't know any
gecko.
of them. I just remember
they're
the
all
rhinos.
Characters from the turn.
And
like
I really
I
like the message of the film as well. I think like the plot of like, you know, humans won't accept you, and then the humans kind of realize they're helping them, but it just like pause, you know, it could give you, if you're a bit older than our kids, you know, pause to reflect on how you treat people who are different than you as well. I like that. And yeah, I just think it was a good time. It's a great family film.
It's a really good screenplay. They seed all the themes of it really well from the beginning. There's even all the little things that pay off at the end, like Donatello's into anime and they visit the high school and he sees an Attack on Titan drawing on someone's locker which says, oh, they're so excited to be in high school, which I think was so endearing. But also it pays off in the end because there's a giant monster and they say, you're the one who knows all the anime, Donnie. What do we do? It pays off.
I like the plot of, and again, this is us being parents and the kids won't be into it, but I like the plot of Splinter like being overly protective and then having to allow the kids to learn for themselves. And I really like the point as well that like, as much as like a parent wants to like control their teenager and stuff and keep a teenager inside, teenagers just don't want to be inside with their family all day, and you have to accept that. They need to be out socializing with other people. And I love the scene where the 4 turtles are all like in their bunk beds just like on their phones because they're so sick of each other as well. I quite enjoyed all that.
I really felt so real, that longing that they had. It was so
and
identifiable.
One of them was like, I think the blue one, I can't remember which one he
Leonardo.
was. Leonardo was like, I just want to go to the prom and have a girlfriend, and I was like, he's gonna get to go to the prom at the end of the movie, and he did.
So, but like, I loved how awkward they were as well. That's the other thing. They were always very capable in the TV show as I
Yeah.
remember. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
they were,
this makes more sense. This is like their first job.
but I also look exactly. This is why it's a really effective origin story,
Yeah.
but it tells its own story.
There was a
But
bit where it
also-
got too violent for me though, and I think you might have been in the bathroom, but there's a montage of them kind of just basically beating up a lot of people, and I just think our kids didn't get this luckily, but the one in the red, the kind of aggressive one, he actually like they got the answer they wanted from some villain as to where they needed to meet Superfly, and then he punched him anyway.
Oh.
Now he moved his fist and then it went black, so like you didn't see it land, but I knew what was happening. I don't know if the kids did. And then one of the other turtles said, like, dude, he'd already answered the question. And I just thought, why do they have that moment in the film? Like,
Yeah,
because
because they are kind of role models. As
Yeah, it was too violent, and I didn't like that. Albeit it was off screen. Like, if you figured out what was happening, it was. I didn't like that actually.
Can I also say I really admired the end of this movie that they, because I thought at one point, Leonardo says, that they're in the middle of the battle and they're being flashed up on Times Square as villains, and they said, and he gave his big speech, his big moment, which was. They're not going to accept us. They're never going to accept us, but we should be heroes anyway.
Yeah,
and
I
I
like
thought that was going to be the end of the arc, and that's their realization that they need to live in the shadows and be secret protectors, which has always been the Turtles' position. They always live in the sewers, but they protect humanity. And then the movie pivoted, and I really admired that. And they were like, no, they're just going to be heroes, and they're going to get everything they want, and they're going to go to high school. And I was like, oh, that's really refreshing.
It was lovely
and interesting.
And then I think I really like the ending, setting up for the sequel, where we see a hint of a Shredder. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean that was obviously going to happen, and that's kind of the thing here. Nothing really played out. Nothing surprised me.
No,
it all played out
because I thought Shredder was going to be the villain the whole time.
I guess
So
that was
that
was a little surprising. But
Yeah.
but as soon as he wasn't, I was
And
like,
he's a super
okay, he's
interesting
going to be in
villain.
a stinger for a sequel.
Like when the Superfly became like the monster Superfly.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
His legs were made of horses and stuff. It was actually freaky.
That's a great design,
Yeah.
and also but they managed to wring even some small, tiny, funny gags out of it, like when the antidote shoots him in the leg and one horse turns back to normal. I mean, it was
fun.
funny.
And he was basically like Godzilla and stuff. I enjoyed all the New York City
So
stuff.
yeah, the jokes landed. It felt really fresh. I liked spending time with all of these characters. It had a tiny little bit of a nostalgia buzz. But that wasn't the primary thing. This film has value in itself, and I would happily watch another one. So yeah, absolute
and love April's
slam dunk.
Puke Girls arc. So anyway, let us know what you thought about it. Come over to thecinemile@gmail.com or come over to Instagram, X, or
oh no,
Letterboxd.
don't say that. I'm not going to call it
I
that.
just don't think that somebody can like patent or trademark a letter.
Don't talk to us on
I
X.
don't think
talk
that
to us somewhere else.
I don't think that you can do that. Or come over to patreon.com/thecinemile, where we do monthly retro movie reviews. We just watched Blowout. What was it called? Blowout?
Blowout, with John Travolta from
and,
the 80s.
We're doing loads of TV reviews.
And you get to pick the next movie we're going to watch if you join up there.
And we're just about to record a TV episode this week.
What are we watching?
Hijack.
Jury Duty. We finally
Duty.
watched.
Yeah, finally watched a little bit more and just like that because I just can't stop talking about it. And come over to patreon.com/cinema.
Lots of good stuff there. And thanks for listening. And we'll see you over on X. Just be doing our reposts on X. Bye.
Bye.
I'm Laura.
I'm Lauren.
And this is Go Love Yourself. She went, you're 26? I was like, size 26? Yeah. And she was like, oh, right, that makes sense.
This is the show where we're learning to love ourselves a little more and taking you along with us.
I grew up never seeing anybody that looked like me, and that made me feel like not part of society, like almost like not a woman, because I just never felt like I fit in.
If you've got a relative that is mean about your body, Laura, what do we say to them?